Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host, Ali Gohar. We're going to talk about two topics today, and we'll begin with cricket, and we'll specifically focus on the first upcoming test match, day-night test match between Pakistan and Australia in Brisbane. Let's start with the Australians. Let's face it, they're very hungry for a win. They lost badly in Sri Lanka. They lost the series at home to South Africa, but they managed to win the one-day night test match in Adelaide, and they thrashed the New Zealanders in a one-day series, so in the Chappell Hadley series. So they look really, really hungry, and you can bet your bottom dollar that they're going to go after the Pakistanis. And they've got a few youngsters in their lineup. Remember, they made some changes in the third test match in Adelaide, the day-night test match against South Africa. In came a new left-handed opener called Madison. Then you had a guy in the middle order called Hanscom. So they look quite promising, but remember, it's a new and one might argue a frail middle order, and that's what the Pakistanis can look to exploit early on in the piece. They can put this Australian batting lineup under pressure, but first they need to get through David Warner, who's in magnificent form. He's been playing beautifully in test match cricket and one-day cricket. They've got to get through Usman Khwaja, who's also in the form of his life, and of course the captain, Steven Smith. So the Pakistani bowlers will have a lot of work to do if they want to get rid of them early on, and then perhaps they'll manage to put pressure on Australia's new look middle orders. So it's going, hopefully it'll be a competitive series, and Pakistan will be hoping that they can surprise the Aussies. Remember, they haven't won a test match there since 1995, and that was in Sydney. So we'll talk about that in detail. Then we'll move on to football. That'll be our second segment, and we'll spend a lot of time talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, who won the Ballon d'Or for the fourth time. He just beat his rival Lionel Messi, who's won a few more times than Ronaldo. Ronaldo has been in absolutely brilliant form in 2016. In 42 games, he's got 38 goals and 14 assists. That really is quite remarkable. And then if we have time, we'll talk about the UEFA Champions League draws. Arsenal will be playing Bayern. That's something we'll talk about in great detail. That'll be a very, very interesting game. And to talk about cricket in further detail, I've been joined by two guests in the studio. I have with me Colonel Naushad Ali. Colonel Naushad, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, Ali.
How are you?
Fine, thank you very much.
And we also have Mr. Moisha. Moisha Sab, always a pleasure.
Thank you, Ali. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Colonel Naushad, like I said, Pakistan haven't won a test match in Australia since 1995. And Misbah ul Haq will be well aware of that. So this tour, I mean, we know it's not going to be easy, especially given the fact that we lost in New Zealand. We lost 2-0. The last test match we played against the West Indies, although we won the series, we lost the last test match, so we've lost 3 in a row. So Pakistan will be under quite a bit of pressure.
Well, in your introduction, you said something. Pakistan will give a tough time to Australia. I mean, we are talking now, Pakistan will give a tough time. If you go back to about 6 months, when the Australians were in the process of rebuilding their team, trying their youngsters, Pakistan were #1 position in the world at that time. Now they have slumped down, Australia has come up. Their level has come up, their youngsters have come up, and they have done so well in the last 2 or 3 series. Now it's the same, looks to be the same Australian which used to be about 10 to 12 years back. What I'm trying to say is that no doubt it will be a tough series for Pakistan, but it will also be a tough series for West Australia as well. Why? Because Pakistan have been playing on pitches where they used to seam and swing very much. I'm trying to say about the New Zealand. Now they have shifted over to the series where the pitches will have a little bit of bounce and less movement in the air. So Pakistan will try to adjust. If their batsmen, they succeed and they can adjust themselves on this changing condition like the Brisbane we have, then I'm pretty sure that it should be a very, very good series.
Well, let's talk about some of Australia's frailties, their weaknesses in their batting lineup. I went through some of their batsmen. I think I got a couple of names wrong, but now it's come back to me. Renshaw is their new left-handed opener. They've got a guy called Hanscom, who played in the third test match. So did Madison. So they're talented but young. And they're coming up against guys like Mohammad Amir, Rahat Ali, Wahab Riaz, and Yasir Shah. So it ain't going to be easy. And I think that's what Mickey Arthur meant when he said the Pakistan side is a lot more settled than the Australian side.
Australia, Ali, as you know, they depend more on their experienced batsmen like Smith, Warner and Usman Khwaja. But the trio is the one that holds the key for Australia, I think. If they succeed in playing well, if they have the form is with them, they have the capability of showing their prowess with the bat, and all depends on how they play Pakistani attack. No doubt about that. There are youngsters, very talented youngsters in the Australian batting lineup, but I think they would struggle a bit against like of Amber, Rahat Ali, and Yasser Shah. Playing Yasser Shah on the track, which is famous to help spinners. As you know, Shane Warne here picked the maximum number of wickets for Australia. If we compare it with other tracks around Australia, it is here in the Brisbane track that he has grabbed a majority of his wickets. So it would help spinners a bit. No doubt about that. Earlier on, the seam bowlers would have their say. But once the ball would get old, Yasser, who according to manager Wasim Bari, is fit enough to play day after tomorrow, he would, I think, pose a real threat to the youngsters.
Right. Another thing Mickey Arthur said, he said that the Australians have quite a few left-handers in their side, Renshaw, Warner, Usman Khwaja.
Yeah.
So that'll make Pakistan's left-arm seamers more dangerous. I thought that was a good point. Something that a lot of people didn't pick up
off
on.
the pitch, and sometimes it brings in as well. And I'm pretty sure the Amir will be little more difficult to play on the Brisbane pitch as compared to the left arm seamers, because he not only have a quick movement, but off the pitch he is very, very quick. And other seamers, yes, of course, is there. But I'll add one thing here. Lot depends how our right arm leg spinner bowls, Yasir Shah bowls. Because what I'm trying to say is that if the Yasir Shah is 100% fit, I'm pretty sure that they must have a plan to tone down Yasir Shah. They must have a plan for each and every batsman, right from the number 1 to number 5, number 6, to attack Yasir Shah initial business. Because this series is going to decide, this match is going to decide how they fare against the top bowling of Pakistan.
Right. I want to pick up on the first point Colonel Naushad made. He said that the Pakistanis really struggled in New Zealand this time around because there were seaming wickets. Now, I want you to go back a little bit, Moeed Shah Saab. Pakistan haven't won a test match in Australia since 1995. However, Pakistan's record in England and New Zealand is actually quite good, where the wickets seam around a little bit. Okay, fine. In the last series against England, yeah, the wickets didn't seem that much, but, well, it seemed more than Sharjah, Abu Dhabi, and Dubai. True. So I think, if you go by history, Pakistan are more comfortable playing the swinging ball than the ball that's bouncing. Cast your mind not back to Old Trafford, where it wasn't the seam that troubled them so much, it was the bounce. I think Pakistan are more concerned about bounce than they are about seam. What are your thoughts?
Bounce has troubled Pakistan, no doubt about that. But you know, recently Pakistan lost the series against New Zealand on a pitch that was more, favorable to seam bowler. There was a lot of grass on the pitches in New Zealand, and here I think comparatively, what I have learned today from the manager, comparatively the wicket here is, apparently it is. The grass is not fully on the wicket, and by the time the test would start, I think it would die down more. It would be moved to the zero level. So I think the movement with the new ball is okay, but once the ball would get old, the movement would be lesser. And with it, I think Pakistanis this time are well equipped. I'm talking about the batsmen. They would play possibly better than what we have seen in New Zealand, because of the fact that here the movement would be less, the seam movement would be less, and they possibly would be in a position to score some extra runs, which they found it hard in New Zealand.
But see, that's the point I'm trying to make, Colonel Naushad, and just try and help me out here. Bounce, like I said, we haven't won in Australia since '95. The last time we won was in Sydney, and that was a very good wicket to bat on. But in England, again, we've won. In New Zealand, we've won. We hadn't lost in New Zealand since 1985. And if you watch those two test matches in New Zealand, the first innings, yes, the wicket was completely green, and Colin de Grand home got 6 wickets, and it was poor stroke play. Then, who really troubled the Pakistani batsman was Neil Wagner. And why did he trouble them? Because he was bowling short. Old Trafford, Pakistan completely collapsed, not because of swing, because of bounce. That's why I worry.
I'll say England and New Zealand, if you compare the two, the pitches of the two cricketing centres, most of them, they do left the grass on it. Why do they left the grass on it? So that the ball takes some time to get rough or get older. So in that way, New Zealand and England, they are similar in that. But do not forget that what we saw in England were no doubt, English fast bowlers were no doubt bowling short pitches, but not all the time, occasionally, as a surprising ball, not as a regular ball. But in case of Australia, even if they are not bowling the bounces, even if they are bowling on the regular length, it will come to the shoulder height, it will come to the waist height at least. And for that, the answer for the Pakistan is the cut shot and the pull shot. If somebody is good on cut and pull, he will certainly be comfortable on that. And coming back to the line of the ball when it is good length, that will be the basics of the game in Australia.
Cut and pull. That's why Ijaz Ahmed was so successful in Australia, because he played beautifully square of the wicket. He liked to cut and he liked to pull. You mentioned the Pakistani batsmen, how they're more, you feel Moeed Shah Sahab, they're more secure than other batsmen in the past. Sami Aslam, he's also very strong square of the wicket. If you look at his wagon wheel, he doesn't play that, too many shots straight down the ground. He likes to play square of the wicket, which means he's more of a back foot player. So that's why I think Sami Aslam did all right. He did all right in New Zealand. He did well in Trent Bridge. He made 82 in Trent Bridge in the 3rd Test match. And I think Sami Aslam just might be successful against the Australians if he bats with a little intent, which he can do.
Any player, Ali, who has the ability to play on the back foot meaning a bit late, ability to play the ball a bit late would be successful in Australia, like the one we have seen in the past, Kamran Akmal. Sometime he played, in one day especially, he played few of very, very exceptional innings.
But in test matches, he's not done well in Australia.
In test matches, yes, he struggled. But the way he is scoring these days in domestic cricket, I think he would be an asset. But that is not concerning with the team, because they've already selected the team. But the thing is, the armory Pakistan has got in batting lineup, I think there are a few players like Babar Azam. I think he can be of biggest support for Pakistani batting lineup, because the way he is playing, he plays more as a static, staying static and playing mostly on the back foot. He has got the ability to cut the ball. And I think from the youngster, he is the one who has the ability to get maximum runs.
Yunus and Misbah, they're getting on, but Yunus in the 4th Test match made a double 100 against England. Yeah. He made a 100 against the West Indies. Yes, sometimes off late he's been moving around a lot in the crease, but there's no doubt. I mean, he is one of the best Pakistan has produced. Misbah-ul Haq has been more consistent, has been very consistent, but some are worried. Many analysts feel that they won't be able to handle Australian conditions. Your thoughts?
Now the cricket is so scientific. Cricket is so matured that any player, when he comes out, after getting out, he straight away goes not to take the rest, but goes to the analyst, see his fault there, watches him there. And vice versa, when the team which is going to face the opposition team, they all sit together. They watch all the videos of the opposition side, particularly concerning them. Like you said, Sami Aslam. Sami Aslam, no doubt, is an opener. They must have watched the weak points of Sami Aslam many, many times on the analyst analysis. But on the other hand, if you see, they do exploit they will certainly exploit in case of Samir Islam bowling on the ribs, not bowling on the top, trying to make him play.
He's secure outside the off stump. I'm sure they've noticed
that's right,
that.
That's right. So that is the one thing. But as far as Yunus and Misbah are concerned, no doubt they are. One is 39, other is 42. But do not forget that still they are your best batsmen among the lot. And still they carry the experience which is nowhere with any other team in the world. So a lot depends how Misbah and Yunus Khan cope with the Australian fast batsmen.
As Arthur said, 270, 300 minimum. Because I mean, Pakistan, he believes, have the bowlers to take 20 wickets. So 270, 300. Bare minimum, if they do that,
Absolutely right. You know,
they have a strong chance of surprising the Australians.
we have been saying recently, even during the series against New Zealand, that Pakistani batsmen, they need to get 300 runs to give some cushion to their bowlers to bowl and restrict the opponents for less than that. Because Pakistan, as we have seen in the side match, Pakistan bowlers have the capacity to bowl their position out for less than 200 even. So if your batsman sports your bowlers, then I think we can make a match out of it. And if Pakistani batsmen can get 300, around 300, I think then we would be having a very good test match ahead of us.
Right, we've talked about the Pakistani bowlers. Colonel Naushad, you wanted to make a point here.
I do agree with Mickey Arthur's comments that Pakistan is a more settled side.
It makes sense. I mean, I know what he's trying to say.
You go back to about, say, 6 to 7 years. Your 5, 6 players are always part of the team. That speaks that they are a settled team.
Yeah, absolutely. Pakistan's bowlers, mostly left armers. You've got Amir, who can be very dangerous on his day.
True, it's true that.
Sohail Khan, Wahab Riaz, Rahat Ali, Imran Khan. Now, they've all done well in the past, but now they're going to be playing in Australia, and the grounds are quite difficult for fast bowlers. They're not easy, and there can be a lot of fitness problems for the fast bowlers.
True.
So that's something that they'll have to think about, especially Sohail Khan, who's not the fittest of the lot.
Absolutely right. I think Sohail has struggled with his fitness. And the action he is having and the problem he is having with his physique, I think that troubles him in the past. But I think they have got enough backup, all 3 seamers, Wahab, Rahat Ali and Muhammad Amir. They are, I think, favourite to make the team, the playing lineup. This time around, I feel Sohail Khan would not be there because of their recent performance. Wahab has bowled well, Rahat Ali has bowled well, Amir was absolutely marvellous in the side match. So they would straight away, possibly they would opt to go with 3 left-arm seamers rather than including Sohail in the lineup or Imran Khan in the lineup.
Right, and they'll be even more marvellous if the Pakistani fielders, the slip scored and hold on to their
Absolutely
catches. That is very,
they would be
very,
but
very
here
important.
I think slip fielding would be, you would see a marked improvement in the slip fielding because of the fact that balls come up rather than go down. In Australia, the bounce is always there. And when the ball gets batted...
We've dropped catches in Australia, sir. In 95 in Brisbane, how many did we drop? 5? 6? Something like that?
True. But that time it was a difficult proposition. There were some, players who are not cooperating, what we have learned from, management in the past.
I got
but
it.
here everything is settled down. Team is united. And I think they are in the best of shape to give their 100%.
Yasir Shah, Pakistan's trump card, many say. Abdul Qadir came to Australia in 1983 and he didn't bowl that well. He said because he wasn't used to the Australian conditions and the ground was sandy, because he'd like to get some mud on his fingers and he wasn't quite getting the grip that he needed. Mushtaq Ahmed, although, did bowl well in 1995. So Yasir Shah has to familiarize himself with Australian conditions. We shouldn't get too ahead of ourselves and give him too much expectations shouldn't be too high. We shouldn't put him under so much pressure because it's not easy for a leg spinner to bowl in Australia, especially mainly because he's not used to it. He's never done it before.
A lot depends, how Yasir Shah reads the batsman, reads the intentions, and he thinks on each and every delivery where to go next. And if he is successful in that and he bowls according to the plan, do not forget that Australians, they have quite a few right left arm batsmen,
Left-handers.
and Yasir Shah has got a lovely googly and a straighter one. So he could be effective, but depends on how the captain make him bowl, how the wicketkeeper supports him, and how he spins to the batsman.
He'll put a lot of pressure on their middle order. They're newcomers. Because remember, Smith, Khwaja, and Warner are amazing against spin.
We should keep one thing in our mind that this time around it is not Sharjah, it is not UAE. Here the pressure would be less on Yasir Shah, and pressure would be on, we are expecting from the left arm seamers to take wickets, and we don't expect everything from Yasir here. So a couple of wickets, 3-4 wickets, 3 wickets in an innings would be enough for Yasir, because we know well that seamers would get wickets. Seamers have the capacity to go run through the batting lineup or even take wickets regularly. So entire pressure would not be on Yasir Shah here.
Australia's fast bowlers, Stark is their best. They've got Josh Hazelwood, who's just
He's
continue.
the fastest.
Yeah, Stark is the fastest and the
Fastest,
best.
that's right,
He's the most skillful. Josh Hazelwood supports him very well. I think he's a tremendous bowler. It'll be interesting to see who they use as their third seamer. They've got quite a few options. Let's not discount Nathan Lyon. In 1995, Warren gave Pakistan a lot of trouble. And Pakistan struggled against Nathan Horrocks as well in 2009, 2010, that series, the 2010 series, I believe it was, in Sydney. Pakistan have struggled against spin. And Nathan Lyon is bowling quite well. So while, yes, of course, Stark and Hazelwood are the main threats, Lyon is someone that the Pakistanis have to think about as well. You can't take him lightly.
Well, I think Pakistani batsmen, irrespective of the number, whether it's number 1 or number 6, they can all easily read the movement of the finger and the movement of the wrist as well. So this will be, of course, he is a very good bowler. He has done very well in the past as well. But I feel that the Pakistanis will be more in difficulty on the fast bowling as compared to the spinner in the Brisbane pitch. What about the Brisbane? I mean, it's a wonderful ground. It's been liked by all the cricketers all over the world. It's had a capacity of about 35,000. It's risen to now 50,000 capacity. Lovely place to play. And I'm very lucky that I've been there as a player, as an official in the ICC matches.
Was it bouncy even then?
It's very bouncy, yeah.
More than Perth at your time?
Perth is the has
At that time.
maximum.
At your
bounce.
time, yeah, Perth was it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, that must have been very difficult to keep wickets there.
Yeah, it used to come here. It never used to come here.
Is that one of the reasons why you think Kamran Akmal struggled in Australia?
I
Because
think
of
Kamran Akmal had more problem on
Sydney,
the
it doesn't bounce as much, so not sure why.
Wicketkeeper always have a problem when it's go low down, but it's coming up, then it is easy to take in the steps. If they fail to take in the step, then they dive for that.
Yeah, Moin Khan actually kept very well in Australia, if my memory serves me. Yes.
No,
Moin Shah.
why we give too many wickets to Lyon? Because of the fact, I think, once we always Pakistani batsmen always faced problem facing Aussies quicks. Once they get out of a take, we feel it easy playing Lyon.
we take it easy.
And that's
thinking
where
about
we
that.
concede wickets. We give wickets to Lyon, and that is the main point.
I remember Shane Warne made a point when he was commentating, and he said that Pakistani batsmen actually don't play spin all that well, and I found that quite interesting. And Warne would say that because he's had a field day against Pakistan many times. So he raised that point once, and then it got me thinking that we're not as secure against spin as we think we are. But I think Moin Shah Sahab made a very good point. Like, well, the Australian fast bowlers and whoever fast bowlers soften the Pakistani batsman up, and then they think they can take it easy against one of the spinners.
I think you're absolutely right. I do agree with this. If I recollect, you remember once Wally Grout used to be the keeper of Australia.
I've heard the name, I don't remember.
Yeah. He was a real magic, and I've read his book as well. It was written there, anybody who is keeping the wicket, he belongs to Brisbane.
Right.
Anybody who keeps the wicket on a Brisbane pitch, if he has got a healthy knees and healthy in the bottom here as well, then he can be a successful keeper on a Brisbane pitch rather than one who moves with the hands.
But is it, I mean, I know I'm digressing a bit because you were a wicketkeeper. Is it easier to keep in Australia than it would be in other parts of the world because of the consistent bounce, or would the quickness trouble you?
I think quickness is always there in Australia, irrespective of whether it's Pakistan or anybody who can bounce the ball, he achieves a little bit of more yards than that. But certainly it's easier in Australia. Why? Because then you have not to bend down on every ball. You have to not to dive on every ball. You have to take the ball either on the west or on your shoulder, on the left or right.
Yeah, but when I look at keepers, their hands, I mean, it's quite a mess. I mean, Colonel Noshad Saab, with all due respect, I mean, your fingers, I mean, if you look at that, that's all because of keeping wickets. I mean, look at that. I've seen Wasim Bari's fingers as well. You were talking about Wasim Bari. My God, I mean, they're strange because of how much he kept. Ian Healy as well, all of them.
I remember Alan Knott of England. He has got 10 fingers. All 10 over there.
Who put steaks? Rodney Marsh? Was it Marsh or Alan Knott?
Rodney Marsh used to put meat on that.
Meat. He put raw meat in his gloves. Yeah, so you keepers have all kinds of strange techniques. I guess you have to, when you're keeping to such.
Because you see, even if it is a minor fracture, you have to play. If you can't play, there is no replacement for you. So they do adopt a certain modification within themselves.
Right, absolutely. I talked a lot about Australia's batting, where Pakistan can get them, but they also have to realize, like I said before, Warner is in the form of his life. So they're going to have to assess his weakness. I'm not sure if he has one. I'll have to think about it really hard. So then there's Khwaja, who's in the form of his life as well, and Stephen Smith. And these guys, they don't just score little hundreds, they score big hundreds.
There is no one better, I think, than Mickey Arthur to know the weaknesses and strong points of Australia.
You mentioned Arthur, he'll be under a lot of pressure as well, given his history with Australia. So I think he really wants to win this one.
Absolutely. The way he, tendered his resignation 5 years back, I think he would be looking forward for a victory here, for a good Test series against Australia, because he has some score to settle with Australians. But the thing is, he is the best man to know the weaknesses, the strong points of Australian batting lineup, because all these players played under him, under his coaching. So I think if he give good tips to the Pakistani bowlers, and if they execute the plan well, I think Pakistan get a good chance. Seamers get a good chance to restrict the top order batsmen to a reasonable total.
He has to prove himself to be a real good Ghar Ka Bedi.
Well, let's see what happens. I hope we don't put too much pressure on him. Look, let's remember, Pakistan are the underdogs. They're not favorites, and they'll be trying their best. So I just feel like we just have this bad habit of attacking everybody very quickly. Whether it be the selectors, coaches, captain. Let them play, and let's be reasonable with our criticism. Before we end this segment, Colonel Noshad, I almost forgot, and you and I often discuss this when you're here in the studio. Day-night cricket, pink ball. Now, it's not just the older generation. A lot of current cricketers are saying they don't want there to be an overkill of day-night cricket. I think it was Nathan Lyon who said that. What are your thoughts?
You see, Ali, there's a solid reason to introduce this color of ball. Why? Because number one, the Test cricket was dying down. I'll take it. Test cricket was dying down. And then there was no crowd coming up to watch it. So they had to have some sort of Test cricket where day and night both are involved. When they involved the night, then the red ball was a little more difficult for players to play. So they introduced a compromise color, technically specific color, and that comes out to be the pink ball. So I'm pretty sure that this experiment so far is under consideration, but this should continue.
But genuinely, so you think that this is a good thing that's happening?
I think this is a very good thing. No, future generation, future players should have to adjust on this side.
But they are still experimenting with the ball. This time around the seam would be a little darker. And the Kookaburra, the providers, they are already, make their plan clear that they are working more on the ball so it can be more visible to the batsman under lights.
Visibility, you see it not just for the batsmen, by the way, for the fielders. I think the Australians shelled quite a few catches against the New Zealanders in the first day-night test match.
True.
So yes, visibility is an issue, and a lot of cricketers feel that colour comes off very quickly. That's something that needs to be...
That's something chemical. That's something goes to the manufacturer. But as far as the players are concerned, they have to adjust their eyesight on this particular color, that is the pink color, if they have to perform in future. Because this color has to stay. And although it is under experimentation, but I'm pretty sure that this will be adopted for the good of Test cricket.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, it was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
It always is. Thank you very much for coming on. We'll be back after a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about football. Stay tuned. Welcome back. It's time now to discuss football, and we'll be talking about Cristiano Ronaldo's Ballon d'Or award. This is the fourth time Cristiano Ronaldo has won. Once again, he's beaten Lionel Messi, although Lionel Messi, I think, has won more than he has. But before we talk about Ronaldo and what he's achieved in 2016, we're going to talk very briefly about the Ballon d'Or and its history. It came into being in 96. First, I understand it was the FIFA Ballon d'Or. Now it's just the Ballon d'Or. And we're going to discuss this with our two guests in the studio. I've been joined by Mr. Ali Mehdi. Ali Mehdi, great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me, Ali.
And we also have Waleed Irfan. Waleed, always a pleasure.
Thank you, Ali.
Ali, take it away. 1956.
Yes, the Ballon d'Or is a trophy which was actually originated by a French football writer by the name of Gabriel Hanot. It's actually an award which is annually given by French football, and ever since then it's been one of the most prestigious awards in the world. And on an annual basis, they rank the top 3 players in the world. And this award is actually judged by football writers all around the world. Football journalists decide. They decide over a ballot and over a voting system as to which is the best football player in the world, and then accordingly, once the results are actually announced in the second week of December.
I mean, I don't know about what used to happen then, but now I understand 173 journalists vote for the Player of the Year. Not sure how it happened then, but it's clearly something that's been given a lot of importance, because I remember I was reading one of Ronaldo's interviews, or maybe I was watching his movie, and he often brought it up. And every time Lionel Messi won the award over him, it hurt him and it made him more hungry. That's how important the Ballon d'Or is.
Ali, it's probably the most prestigious individual award in the world of football at the moment. I think that if you want to be the best player, I think you have to win the Ballon d'Or. So Ronaldo, as you were mentioning, it was his movie Ronaldo, named as Ronaldo, and in the movie as well, he has been mentioning it quite some time that he wants to win it. He worked so hard for it, and this time around, I think that he was a deserving individual to win this one.
Yeah, I said Lionel Messi is a couple behind him. In fact, now after winning this, Ronaldo is just one behind
5-4,
him.
yeah.
So he's nipping at his heels. Although, I mean, we'll get to Ronaldo, of course, but Messi really was a very strong contender in 2016. He did not, I mean, if you just look at his stats here, he's been in superb form, 50 goals, 50 games in 2016. That's very, very good.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. But Ali, looking at actually what happens is that the calendar performance is looked into. Yes, individual performance is also looked in as to how many goals and how many assists, and but at the same time, team success. Now for Ronaldo, I think the icing on the cake was not only was definitely the Champions League, but the fact that he won a team award for the first time. Now the fact of the matter, he managed to eclipse Lionel Messi, something which Lionel Messi does not have is a country award. Cristiano Ronaldo won the coveted UEFA Euro 2016, something which he's gotten over his great rival Lionel Messi, who's lost in the South American this.
Well, he didn't do
Copa
too
America.
badly in the Copa America. It was just the final where it all went wrong for him, so much so that he retired.
Yeah.
Did Lionel Messi?
Definitely did, and it's good that he has taken back his retirement.
We
would
thought he would.
Yeah, we thought, yeah. So I think that it would be good to see both of them competing at the club level as well as the international level. Because with such players, I don't think that if you take away your retirement from the international football, you can perform better. I think that you need both you need to take them side by side, the international football and the club football. For Ronaldo this time around, I think that the international football was the plus point, the major point, which differentiated him from Lionel Messi this time.
I mean, let's look at Ronaldo's 2016 stats, shall we? 42 games, 38 goals, 14 assists. Third best minutes per goal rate, 83.68. Anyone scoring a minimum of 10 goals across Europe's top 5 leagues during 2016, behind Suarez, who's at 82.57, and Falcao, 59.6. And directly involved in 39 La Liga goals in 30 games, 31 scored, and 9 assists. Can't really argue with that, can you?
Yeah, that's phenomenal, Ronaldo. And the fact doesn't matter. What we also have to give him a lot of credit for is that his consistency. He's been banging in 40 plus goals over the past, not only 5-6 years, for the past 10 years now, 8-9 years. Even when he was at Manchester United, his last 2 seasons, he also scored about 30 plus goals. But it just shows the consistency of the man and how hard he works, and how well he oils himself before a calendar year. He's very motivated, and have to give a lot of credit to him. His desire to actually to keep winning these awards. Normally when you have a person, they'll stop at 2 or 3, but the fact that his great rival Lionel Messi is right ahead of him with 5, that keeps his hunger and desire going.
He's won in 2008, 2013, 2014, and now 2016.
16.
And as we were discussing earlier, one of the reasons why I think he's so hungry to win the Ballon d'Or is because of Lionel Messi. That's why these rivalries are just so amazing.
They are delightful to watch, Ali, because when you look at the two players, they are working day and night, week in, week out. I think that they are performing, they are training in the gym, and when it comes to the games, their performance speaks for itself. So Lionel Messi is one major factor for Ronaldo's performances, if you put it simply, because in the following year, this coming year, I think that this is the last chance for Ronaldo to get equal with Messi, because if he doesn't, I think that Messi will take it once again, or we'll see a newcomer this time around in Neymar or Suarez or some other player. So I think that Messi is a big reason for Ronaldo to work hard, and the both are a delight to watch. It's a lovely sight for the football fans.
Ali Mehdi, the Cristiano Ronaldo of Manchester United and the Cristiano Ronaldo now for Real Madrid. Talk us through that, the growth that you've seen in Ronaldo since he got to Real. I'm not saying he was bad for Manchester United by any means, but many analysts say that he's actually upped his game a little bit, in the sense that he's a lot more focused than perhaps he was when he was younger. And I guess that's expected. What are your thoughts?
No, I completely agree. You see now maturity with Cristiano Ronaldo. Over the past 6-7 years, what's happened, he's not only upped his game, he's improved his dietary regime. At the same time, he's more physically fit, he's leaner. At the same time, he's also, he's more agile than he was before, and he's now more careful when it comes to injuries. I mean, whilst he just left Manchester United at the beginning of his Real Madrid career, you saw a couple of injuries which kept him out for a portion of the first season at Real Madrid. But now we are seeing that he's taking care of himself. At the same time, he's also, making sure that, that his training regime, is pinpoint accurate, and, he makes sure that, he doesn't overdo it. So, you have to give him a lot of credit. And then also at the same time, he has a good recovery regime too. So, you have to give a lot of credit to him, because he's managed to make sure that everything's in order.
For you, Waleed, what is Ronaldo's core strength? I know he has many, but in your opinion, what makes him extremely special? What makes him unique?
Ali, I think his quick feet movement, number one. The second is his aerial ability, exceptional aerial ability. I don't think that a very few players in the world of football are, head-to-head with him in terms of aerial
Ronaldinho
ability.
had it, I think. a
What?
little bit. Ronaldinho, do you remember?
Ronaldinho, yeah.
I was just thinking.
No, he was very good with the feet, but not with the head. So Ronaldo, for me, I think that his aerial ability is unmatched. Similarly, I think that Ronaldo's movement on and off the ball, his dribbling, there are many qualities you can talk about them all night. So I think that Ronaldo is a very gifted player, but side by side, he is a very good, hard-working player. Messi, on the other hand, is pure talent. Ronaldo, for me, is a hard worker. He works hard, and it's paying the price.
So, I mean, there's a lot of talk about who's better, Ronaldo or Messi. I mean, this has been going on for ages. What's your opinion, Ali?
Yeah, it's been going on for the past decade. In fact, the rivalry has stretched to such extremes that we don't hear of a third or fourth or fifth person. I mean, these two have actually been going against it for so many years. And you see nobody's even come close to these two for that matter. So it just shows that, as long as they are fit and then they're scoring goals, banging in the goals, and, they're doing well at club and even international level, then we'll continue to see them, challenge for this Ballon d'Or trophy for the years to come.
We've only got 2 minutes, so let's just spend 40 seconds on some of the contenders, then we'll get to Bayern Arsenal, the draws. Gareth Bale was a contender. Griezmann was another contender. Would they feel hard done by? Do you think they deserve it?
I don't think. They never expected themselves to win it. So when you have Messi or Ronaldo...
They've been brilliant, though.
Yeah, they have been brilliant, no doubt about that. But when you are up with Messi or Ronaldo, I don't think you would expect you to win that one. One disappointing nominee was, for me, I think, Robert Lewandowski, who has finished, I think, 16th or 19th in the list. So he had a fantastic season with Bayern Munich last season and also with Germany. So for me, I think, is he German? I think I'm mistaken.
He's Polish.
Yeah, sorry, Polish. He had a very good season with Poland. So Lewandowski, I think, is one major upset for me, but others, it was a fair result.
Very quickly, the draws that we've seen. Arsenal will be taking on Bayern Munich. Why are you laughing? What's so funny?
That's because yesterday I watched the draw live and I was hoping for this. And as soon as it happened, I messaged Waleed and he replied to me, ha 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 ha. I mean, it's Arsenal are so unlucky. I mean, they must be thinking, what have they done? That, in their stars, Bayern Munich is always written. I mean, they're playing Bayern Munich for the fourth time in
No one does fourth better than Arsenal.
Nobody does fourth better than Arsenal.
This time around, they're going to win it.
Fourth time in 5 seasons.
And they're playing amazing football.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe, okay, fine, unlucky, whatever, but they'll be G'd up because their confidence, I mean, it's sky high at the moment.
Arsenal are a team in form, whereas Bayern are not a team in form at the moment. So for me, I think that we can expect a surprise this time around. Also because Arsenal have the second leg at home this time around because they topped the group, so they will have the second leg at their Emirates Stadium. So you can expect an upset this time around, I think.
What do you think?
I disagree because I actually feel that, if Arsenal want to get anything out of it, they have to make sure that when they go to the Allianz Arena, they don't concede in buckets because that's what they did last time. They were thrashed 5-1, last year in the group stage. So Arsenal need to make sure they play tight, they get the away goal, and then we can see a good match at the Emirates. Otherwise, I feel that it's, Bayern Munich through and through.
Right. We're going to leave it at that. Gentlemen, it's always a pleasure talking to you about football.
Thank
you
you
very much for coming on. That's all we have time for. Keep watching Sports Extra on PTV World. See you next time. Bye-bye.